How y'all doing? I'm Paul Ryan, your host of the Across the Cowboys podcast. If you're new to the show, thank you for joining us. And to our regular listeners, welcome back. With me, as always, is my co-host, the greatest co-host in the world, Mike the Pig Crumb. Mike, how are you?
Doing good, my friend. Doing good. Day 7 of my reset. So I'm feeling good. Ready to go. Getting ready for the trip. I'm 2 weeks away from today from flying out for Disney World.
Oh, flying and not driving now, huh?
Oh, yeah. We're for Disney World.
Oh, gotcha.
I stop in DFW, actually. My plane, I have a holdover at DFW for like an hour. So I have to get off my plane, and I have an hour to find wherever the hell the other plane is, get on that, and get us flying out to Florida.
Paul, we have an hour to get him Red Baron. We have an hour. We gotta coordinate this.
We should find out what hotel room he's staying at and have a Red Baron shipped there.
Dude, that'd be so funny. They go room service. He goes, I didn't order any of this, and it's just Red Baron.
I'm staying at somebody's house about 10 minutes from the park.
I got you. Well, be safe, man. I know, everything going on in Florida around that area, so be careful out there, Mike. Mike, where can we find you on Twitter, sir?
CD Piglet, guys. Nice and easy.
Of course, no show is complete without the conductor of the Jake Ferguson hype train, Mr. Brenden Fergie Smith. Brenden, how are you?
I'm doing great. This week of not worrying about anything football related was really nice. And also, I kind of needed to. I had an exam, and I had a big essay due, so I had some free time to be responsible for once in my life. So it was pretty nice.
Well, I know you had to do some extra work on the show sheet tonight, so I apologize for that, Brenden.
No, it's more fun when you have to answer multiple things.
Yes, sir. Well, Brenden, where can we find you on Twitter?
You can find me at Brandon_Smith26.
I am Paul Ryan. You can find me on Twitter at Paul_Ryan15. Well, week 7 has come and gone, and for some teams, it couldn't have left fast enough. Unfortunately, injuries took their toll yet again. Star quarterback Jaden Daniels of the Washington Commanders left early in the game with a rib injury and is week to week. 49ers receiver Brandon Aiyuk's disappointing season got worse and is now over after tearing his ACL and MCL. And the Browns, oddly enough, might have received a blessing in disguise with Deshaun Watson suffering a season-ending injury as well. Week 7 was a rough one, but Mike, what are your NFL thoughts for week 7?
The best teams in the NFC all reside in the NFC North. Detroit, Green Bay would be the two tops. I think Bears have a good defense and a lot of weapons. If their young quarterback it gets it going like Jaden Daniels has, they have an easy schedule too. Who's the other team in the? Oh, and Minnesota with Darnold. So yeah, they're all killing. But the top, I don't know if Bears are in that league, but Minnesota, if Darnold continues to play well, and Detroit and Green Bay, that could be your 3 best teams in the NFC right now.
Yes, sir. Brenden, what about you? What are your week 7 NFL thoughts?
Well, my main one was the NFC North, but I will go up to the fact of New England is bad, man. Like, New England is that bad. Their first opening drive, like, hey, dude, it's 10-0. What are the Jags doing? Oh, okay, Tank Bigsby just took over. Brian Thomas is their offense as well. New England is just bad, and I feel bad for Drake May.
Yeah, but shout out to Drake May, though, for all things that are wrong with New England. He's like the bright spot. They might have got themselves one with him.
Yeah.
They just need to get some receivers and an offensive line. They've got a lot of work to do, but yeah, he's pretty promising. It looks like. My week 7 NFL thought is it's not just enough to have a elite quarterback this season, man. You've got to really have a complete team, I think, to be a real deal contender, and we're starting to see that. There were some interesting games on yesterday. Just the one I got to watch the most of was Houston and Green Bay. Turned out to be a really good game, but it was weird to see C.J. Stroud kind of like being mortal,
I'm going to hold my thoughts on that until I'm asked the question later on because it's a very similar answer to what you just said.
Oh, wait. Can I add one real quick?
Yes.
Jerry can eat shit. All these running backs dominated yesterday. Those were the reasons why the team won. Joe Mixon looks awesome. Jahmyr Gibbs is so fast, man. Aaron Jones looked great. Saquon Barkley murdered the Giants. It's just, running backs that you could have paid doing great.
It's so funny you say that because I was either going to say the one that I said about not having an elite quarterback wasn't enough, where I was going to say that Jerry and the Cowboys picked the wrong time to not invest heavily in running backs. I mean, when you see what they're doing this year.
I'm still happy about how they've done the running back thing. The process is right than paying Zeke a ton of money. It just, they went too far. Like, you could have paid a cheap guy, Zach Moss, AJ Dillon. Like, you could have paid somebody cheap. They just picked the name. They could sell jerseys off Zeke. They have a bunch of guys online talking about Zeke still 1,000-yard back. He needs more carries. That's typical Jerry. If it comes down to it, he'll take the cheaper version that he can make money and get some notoriety off of. So, they're close. They're close to getting the running back thing right. It just scares me that they're going to use a top 20 pick and go get the kid from Boise State that's really great playing for Boise State, but it's probably just going to be a good NFL running back. And then it's like paying a max contract to a running back because we don't offer anything in free agency. So to use a first-round pick on a running back, might as well have paid $120 million because that's the only way we're improving our team. And running back you can get in the 5th round and they could be good. We're watching it right now. Whereas, wide receiver, defensive line, corner for some years, we don't really need it. But, those O-line, those more important positions, typically if you don't get them early, it's, top 50, top 60, it's hard to land on them.
Something we also should remember is with this offensive line playing the way that they're playing, any running back is not going to look that great because, Rico Dowdle has looked good in spurts. So no disrespect to him, but how thrilled would y'all be if we had Isaac Orindo to pair with Rico Dowdle right now?
I'd be pretty happy.
Yeah, he actually looks pretty good. I think that'd be a fun tandem to have. Well, let's go ahead and get after it. Let's jump right into this thing. Who is your MVP candidate after 7 weeks? Mike, give us one from the AFC and the NFC.
I think I'd go Goff in the NFC. I was going between him and Baker, but the 2 picks early for Baker in this game, I'll put it up to Goff. 7th in yards, 1st in yards per attempt among real starters. I know the backup for Green Bay, the old Tennessee Titan, Malik Willis or something like that. Yeah, he's a little bit ahead of him, but he's only thrown 35 passes, compared to almost 200 for Goff. He's throwing over 70% completion, 10-4 touchdown interception ratio. His QB rating is 111.5. So, he's killing. And then I just say, right now, Mahomes is undefeated, but he's not playing well. So I would probably go Lamar Jackson again. His stats are really good. 10-2 touchdown interception, 108 QB rate. And he's 9th in pass yards, but we know what he adds to the run game, and we know what his running adds to the offense overall because you always have to worry about it. So I'd go Goff and Jackson right now.
It's crazy how bad the Chiefs offense is right now. And I know some people are thinking that Andy Reid is just bored, like they're not even really trying, but eight interceptions compared to 6 passing TDs for Patrick Mahomes. That's wow, man, there's got to be something wrong, it seems like.
Yeah, I would expect them to go get some, I know they have the speed with Worthy and they have Kelsey, and in the playoffs with their defense, that's enough. But I would expect them to go get one guy, and they don't have to be like DeAndre Hopkins. I'm not saying
DeAndre Hopkins would be beautiful, dude.
But somebody like that, or maybe a Christian Kirk if the Jags are out with it or whatever. One of those type guys, I'd expect them to go get just to bolster the room a little. Gotcha.
All right, Brenden, what about you? Give us your MVP candidates.
Mike and I are so close. I have Goff as well because he's just playing non-conflictual football. He's doing the right things almost every time, and it works. But then I chose Lamar's teammate, Derrick Henry. Dude, I like what he's doing this year. I love everything about it. He's 3rd in attempts with 119. He's 1st in yards with 704. My God. No, it's okay, guys. He's washed, guys. He's done. Come on. All these carries he had in college and now in the pros, he's done. Tied for first with 8 touchdowns. He's averaging 5.9 yards a carry.
If it wasn't a QB award, I would have gone.
No, I knew y'all were going to go with quarterbacks, and so I was like, I'm going to spice it up a little bit with Derrick Henry.
Henry
He's
will
just
get
so good.
Offensive Player of the Year
Dude.
because
Oh,
they
yeah.
give every MVP to a QB, which is bull. Henry should be, but they'll give Henry Offensive Player of the Year. Why?
He's on pace for 1,900 yards in, what was it? How many touchdowns again? Oh, yeah, 23.
Oh,
Yeah, he's on pace for 23. 1,900 yards and 23 touchdowns. Are you shitting me?
He might
Is
split. He might split the.
Yeah, I was, is he gonna get there? Yeah, he's not going to. But like, brother, that's so awesome for this team that already has a great running game with Lamar, and their weapons are finally starting to do something. Like, it's just dangerous, man.
Yeah, it really is. You know, we were all kind of had the same thought here. I went back and forth between Jared Goff and Baker Mayfield, ultimately settling on Baker Mayfield, of course, before I saw the game he's having tonight. But for the AFC, I actually went with Josh Allen. You look at the Buffalo Bills, I thought a lot of people thought they might be in like a mini rebuild or like a reload year. And he goes out and just, you know, with some receivers who are NFL receivers, but no like true wide receiver one. Dalton Kincaid not really turning out to be the playmaker that everybody thought he would be. And you just, you know, they've won some ugly games, and they've done it on the back of Josh Allen, and then they go out and get Amari Cooper. I like Josh Allen just a little bit more than Lamar, only because of their situations being a little different.
And no turnovers for Josh Allen, which is if he can do that for a full year, he's tier one. His only issue is that he has a shit ton of turnovers. If you take that away, he's as good a quarterback as you could get in the league.
Yeah.
Period.
He might, you know, depending on how the rest of the season goes, and of course the playoffs factoring in, but he might finally separate himself from Mahomes a little bit. Or at least Joe Burrow, you know.
He's got to get it done in the playoffs. It's going to come down to that. Unfortunately, I don't think it should, but you know, that's how it's going to come down to, you know, can he get past Kansas City's defense? Can he beat the Bengals? Is Joe if since he gets there, Burrow's going to play, you know, they're going to be a tough out because of their weapons and that quarterback.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, who's your coach of the year candidate after 7 weeks? Give us one for AFC and NFC. Brenden.
I gotta go Dan Campbell. Like, that team is hitting on all cylinders, and then so like we shit on Mike McCarthy because like, oh man, if everything's a problem, it's the head coaching. We'll get, you know, higher ups as well, but like it's the head coaching problem.
Yeah,
everything is going right. You can say Ben Johnson's offense, which is spectacular, but you gotta give to Dan Campbell. The defense is playing great. Brian Branch is playing out of his mind. Jared Goff is what we're talking about as an MVP candidate. Their running game is one of the best in the league. Everything's going perfect. And I went with Andy Reid because that team.
Oh, wow.
Well, because the team isn't playing great and they're still winning. Like, we're watching the most simple plays. They're like, okay, that's like, if we did it, it'd be 2 yards at best. How the hell is that a first down? Okay, that play. Oh, that play worked. Shit, that worked too. With nothing. Travis Kelce is washed. I full on believe it. Like, he just looks like he's not even trying that much anymore. With all these injuries, you think like, oh, prime Kelce's going to come back out and be dominant. No. So he's working with Mahomes, and Mahomes has no one. And their defense is playing great, which, like I said, if everything's playing well, you have to give it to the head coach. So, like, and also they're still undefeated.
I'm not mad at that, man. I wasn't expecting anybody to say Andy Reid, but kind of hard to argue there. What about you, Mike? Give us one for AFC, NFC.
I had Andy Reid as well because he's undefeated, and nobody else is really. The other one was Buffalo because they lost so many people and they're limited. So that was my two. But I was like, they're undefeated, and they're not even like in a rhythm, like where they're like, oh yeah, everything's like, and they still get wins. But I'm going Kevin O'Connell because Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold is 5-2, and they just lost to Detroit, who's probably the best team in the NFC, and it was on a last second. You know, it's not like they got killed. They not like Detroit did what they did to us.
Yeah.
And with Sam Darnold, like, that's shocking to me. So yeah, I gotta go Kevin O'Connell and Andy Reid.
Like those. For me, for NFC, I went with Matt LaFleur, man. You know, winning 2 games with Malik Willis, and then, of course, just the way that their team playing, they're starting to look like a complete team, and Jordan Love being a difference-making quarterback. AFC, I actually went with Sean McDermott over Andy Reid.
Good one. I have no issues with that.
The NFC North, man. Holy hell.
So freaking stacked. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, all three of
four
our coach of the
teams, like-
years came from the NFC North.
That's
I would not be
wild.
mad if all four of those teams made it to the playoffs just to see like who comes out on top. Because they really do have the four best teams in the. I mean, not the four best teams overall, but like four of the best teams in the NFC right now.
I think
No.
only three can, right? Because it's 2 wild card or three. Oh, yeah, all three
It's 3
can. Yeah, because you could win all the division winners and then all 4 from the. Yeah, wow, that's crazy.
That'd be totally insane if that happened, man.
Bears have the schedule to sneak in. Their schedule is very poopy.
All right, which coach is on the hot seat for you again? AFC, NFC, Mike.
What did I put? Oh, Sirianni, obviously. Like to have that much talent and look like they're 4-2, but they're kind of like how we're 3-3. Like they barely beat Cleveland. Their revenge game against the division. I always throw out division games because they're weird. But like they barely survived Cleveland. They just haven't looked great, and their roster is like stacked. They should be like looking better than they are. And after the collapse from 10-1 last year, it just he's got to be on there. And then who did I have for? Oh, Doug Peterson, Jags.
Low-hanging fruit right there, man.
If they lost the last game in London, he's probably gone on the flight back. So they saved him for another week.
What about you, Brenden? Any changes there?
Well, AFC, no, I had Doug Peterson as well. Me and Mike are just on the same page a lot. It's kind of crazy. NFC, I put Dave Canales just because the Panthers don't like keeping a coach too long, and that team is a dumpster fire. They gave him nothing to work with. Please fix our first-round quarterback. And it's gross. Washington won with Marcus Mariota mainly at quarterback. That's disgusting.
That was crazy.
It's 2024, man.
Yeah, for me, I'm going with NFC. I'm going with Dennis Allen of the New Orleans Saints simply because just of how he talks about his players and this is going to be 2 years of back-to-back seasons of losing records. And I don't know, man. I don't think he is the type of coach that can get a locker room to believe in him or believe what he's selling and to want to play for him. And then AFC, I was going to say Doug Peterson, but I felt like both of you guys were going to say that, and that is the correct answer. But I'm going to go with Kevin Stefanski, not because he deserves to be fired, only because I think the Browns will probably just do like a reset, depending on how this Deshaun Watson thing plays out, and bringing a new quarterback, bringing a new coaching staff, and maybe Stefanski could end up in Dallas potentially. That'd be pretty fun. But I said Kevin Stefanski again, not deserving by any means, but just because I can see the Browns resetting.
I can see Stefanski like going to them and going, if you're going to make me play Deshaun coming back off his injury next year because of his money, just fire me. Like I don't want to deal with that. I could totally see that. And like not let it out or anything. Just, hey, I was fired. No problem. Thanks for the opportunity. And go and find another job because he doesn't want to deal because they can't, cut him. I don't even know when it's fully guaranteed. So I don't know when their out is to get out of that contract.
How would y'all feel about Stefanski in Dallas?
I would take it in a heartbeat.
Oh, I'd love that.
Immediately, right?
Yeah.
And
best coaching hire I've ever seen.
He plays the type of game that the Jones is like with the run first, but he has a better way of running the ball. So he could sell them like, I'll play your stupid way of football, but I win doing it, and I do it. I don't mind if you run like his teams when they're healthy and they have Chubb run all you want. Be a running offense. My problem is that when you do it, when you're run like we run.
Right. And he does a good job of playing complementary football for sure.
Yeah.
Which teams look like they'll be picking first in the 2025 draft, Mike? Again, AFC, NFC.
Panthers, Pats.
Yeah. Easily. I think we all can agree on that one. Let's move on. That was pretty quick there. Which team that is currently in the playoff race is more of a pretender than a contender for you, Brenden? Again, AFC, NFC.
It's so funny because I was like, man, I have no idea. Then I looked at the listing. It's so obvious. NFC, it's Seattle. You lost to the Giants. Automatically, you shouldn't be here. Like that's them without Neighbors. Daniel Jones looked like a competent QB, so no, you're gone. And then it's the Colts. How in the hell are the Colts in the back end of the playoff race, man? I don't understand it. They're not a good team. They beat Miami. Whoa. That offense is nothing without Tua. So it's just bad, man.
That is bad. I didn't even realize that the Colts were like in the hunt right now. That's crazy.
Yeah, they're 4-3.
Man, shout out to their head coach for doing what he's doing. Mike, what about you? AFC, NFC?
Okay, so by the way I went, it wasn't like, oh, they're going to be not make the playoffs or fall off or be terrible. Mine was, are y'all really contenders, or are you just, you got a good record right now? But when it comes down to it, y'all ain't beating the real teams. Steelers and Eagles were my two. They just 4-2 and 5-2, but I don't trust them to go into Tampa, Detroit, Green Bay. I don't trust them to go into any of those and win in the playoffs with how the situations they're in, whether it's talent or coaching.
Yeah, for me it was AFC. I had the Pittsburgh, not because of Mike Tomlin, but more so because of Russell Wilson. And NFC, I actually went with the Commanders only because of how young their team is. Jaden Daniels, this will be his first taste of the playoffs. Now he's injured. They don't have a very good defense. So, I know their defense is kind of like turning a corner a bit, but I don't trust their defense. And Jaden Daniels, again, being a rookie. So I went with the Commanders, but Philadelphia is a much better answer.
Commanders also is a one.
They have the all-star power of Dante Fowler. I don't know what y'all are talking about, man. Did y'all see?
He's killing right now. He's legitimately he's killing. It's crazy.
I want to see a Dante Fowler penalty. I need that in my life.
He's not a Cowboy anymore.
Man. Which team not currently in the playoff race is a team to watch out for come playoff time, Brenden?
NFC, I said Atlanta, because I do like their offense. Kirk Cousins has played a lot better than we all thought, especially after the Week 1 Pittsburgh game, which was atrocious. And then AFC, I said Cincinnati. Joe Burrow is playing on such a high caliber right now. If just some sort of a team can form around him. What play just happened, Mike?
I almost picked the ball off. That was a clean play by he knocked it in the air, and then as they were both falling, he almost grabbed it for an interception.
But yeah, those are my two.
Cincinnati and who? I'm sorry.
Atlanta.
Oh, Falcons. Gotcha. What about you, Mike?
Cincinnati as well. My other one is San Francisco. I'm going to have conflicting answers because later on I'm going to talk about San Francisco, but their schedule is brutal. And my thought is if they're able to battle through that schedule, they're going to kill us. But after that, if they could battle through that schedule and make the playoffs, they would be like, oh, shit. Like, they won some games that they probably shouldn't have won with how they're playing and how they're injured right now. They would have bounced back hard to make the playoffs. So that would be my two.
For me, I went with NFC Chicago and AFC. This has probably shocked both of you guys, but I went with the Los Angeles Chargers. I feel like Justin Herbert, with his complementary weapons of finally having them all together and their running game getting going. And I don't really know the numbers on their defense, but I could see them making a little run towards the end of the season.
They're down 7-3 to the Cardinals right now with 2 minutes and a half.
Hey, that makes me happy. That's just you're one win closer to the delicious Red Baron. So I'm happy about that either way. That's a no-lose situation for me. After Tampa Bay, Detroit, Washington, and Seattle, which NFC teams do you think are going to the playoffs, Brenden?
Because I want chaos, but like I said, the NFC North, I put Minnesota, Green Bay, and San Fran. Because
wait till you hear my answer.
San Fran's gonna come back. It's Kyle Shanahan. They're such a well-coached team. It's gonna happen. Oh no, you didn't play well against the undefeated Chiefs? Damn, man. Half your team's hurt. No, they'll come back. And then Green Bay is looking great, and then Minnesota fought their ass off and barely lost to Detroit.
Mike? So
I did, even though I asked earlier, can all three of those teams make it? I did Green Bay, Minnesota, and Chicago. So clearly Chicago's schedule is like a last place schedule. Same with Commanders. So those teams aren't great teams, but they're good enough to win 10, 11 games with the schedule that they have. So I think the NFC North all makes it. That would be my pick.
Well, I would love to see it. For me, I went with Chicago, Atlanta, and Minnesota. I would be shocked if Green Bay didn't make the playoffs, but I wouldn't be surprised if Minnesota beat them, had a better record than them at the end of the season either. So it was tough to pick Minnesota over Green Bay, but I wouldn't really be surprised either way. And I think, like you said, Brenden, Atlanta's a team to look out for as Kirk Cousins and that offense seems to get going. Same question for the AFC after Baltimore, Kansas City, Buffalo, and Houston. Mike, which AFC teams do you think will make the
I got
playoffs?
Cincy, Pittsburgh, and the Chargers. I don't have really great reasoning. Just that's the three coaches the coaches and the quarterbacks I trust.
Yeah, I hear that. Brenden, what about you?
Mike just read my list. I don't know what you're doing, dude, and that was just weird.
Nice.
I have Cincy, Chargers, and Pittsburgh. So,
we all had the same three.
Dude,
that's crazy.
Dude, we've been hanging out way too much, man. We've been doing this.
That's crazy.
What the hell?
Yeah, that is funny. Which playoff team from last season is in danger of missing the playoffs this year, Mike?
But I have the Rams and the Jags. Rams just too injured. Aaron Donald gone. Their coach is so good that it wouldn't shock me if they found a way to make it, but I don't think they will. And then Jags just aren't a very good team. Surprisingly, I thought they'd be better, but they're not.
The Jags didn't make the playoffs last year, did they?
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence got beat, didn't he?
No, they lost last game of the season, and that cost them the playoffs actually.
Oh, shoot. Well, then who would be the AFC team then? Who was in the playoffs? I don't even remember. Miami. It would be Miami then. Yeah, Miami. Yeah. Who is hell?
Brenden, is that what you got?
You son of a bitch. I had the God damn it, Mike. I'm not gonna say Dallas because that's just the easiest pick. That is the easiest thing. So I'm stating that so people's like, oh wow, they really think Dallas can still no. But no, I had Rams. They have nothing. Like Stafford's throwing a 2-2 Outwell, and that guy from Texas, which keeps getting hurt. Like Kyron Williams is the offense, and that's it. And their defense isn't even that good. And then Dolphins for AFC is obvious because Tua makes their offense so much better. But even when Tua was here, before concussions and all that, I think he shouldn't be playing. But even before that, they didn't look good. Like before his concussion against the Bills, that was one of the most atrocious football I've ever watched. It was just everything looked bad. So will they be better when Tua comes back and hopefully he can stay healthy? Yes, but I don't think that pushes him to the playoffs.
Yeah, for me, I had Dallas and the Rams as well. And then AFC, I had Cleveland and also Miami. I couldn't decide which of those two, but I wouldn't be surprised if all four of those teams were.
I totally forgot Cleveland made the playoffs.
Jameis Winston to the playoffs, baby.
No, Cleveland's the right answer. Cleveland's absolutely the right answer.
He's going to be eating
But I feel like that was too easy, you know what I mean, because of how bad they've been this year.
Yeah, the two easy answers are Cleveland and Dallas. We're just hoping Dak turns to Superman.
Yeah. He definitely can. Is San Francisco a team that could miss the playoffs, Mike?
Yes. At Tampa, at Green Bay, at Buffalo, at Miami, home to Detroit, plus their division games where they struggle with the Rams and Arizona. I think they already lost to Arizona. They struggle with the Rams.
And he's gone again.
That's all right. I got it. So yeah, I was talking to my friend yesterday because my best friend's a Niner fan, and he's like, well, here you go. We're all injured. I'm like, dude, we're not going to beat you. Like, stop. I'm not saying you're good or going to make the playoffs. I seen your schedule. And he was like, yeah, dude, they're done. I'm on to the Lakers. Like, their schedule is just too tough. If they get through that schedule and make the playoffs, though, like they're going to come out of the NFC. Like, they're just going to be too battle tested to not. So How about you? Do you think San Francisco's out? I heard you saying earlier you think they're going to make it.
I can't doubt, like, of course, at least Kyle Shanahan in the regular season. I can't put anything past him, man. Like, of course, they talk about all of his choking in the playoffs and all that stuff. Rightfully so. Like, you right, but no, dude, he's such a phenomenal coach. He's gonna get them there. He's gonna pull them along. Brock Purdy's not looking great, but also they have no one. Yeah, because Ayuk tore his ACL. Debo's been sick.
CMC's out.
Well,
and Kittle sprained his ankle.
Yeah, CMC's been out, but also, like, I don't think it matters that much because the running scheme is just that awesome. He's alive.
He's back.
We can stop the RIP Paul on Twitter now.
Yeah, that was so crazy when that came up.
That was weird.
We're just going into the confidence change. We just talked about San Francisco missing the playoffs, Paul. So you're good. You didn't miss anything.
Yeah, after falling to 3-4, did your confidence in the Cowboys beating San Francisco change at all, Mike?
No, it's a mentality thing. We're not mentally tough enough to beat them. They know they own us. They got to show it first. They got to show any type of. Even the Pittsburgh game where they moved the ball up and down the field, they would turn the ball over to keep the game close. They had to win it at the end. A game that should have been a blowout. So, like, even with all their injuries, I just see them coming in and going, we know we can out-coach you. We know we can out-physical you. We know mentally we're tougher than you and that they'll just beat us.
Brenden.
Oh, not at all. Like,
yeah.
It's so funny seeing San Fran players take this, like, rivalry so seriously. We haven't won. I think the last time Dak beat them was 2016?
Yeah.
Wasn't it the last time? That would be way before Kyle Shanahan was there.
Wait, no. It was no. We beat them once in the regular season, and like in 2018 or something like that, or 2021, and they beat us in the playoffs in 2021. It was something like that. We've beaten them one time since 2016.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I don't either.
I really don't. I guess they just warped my mind so much. I just don't see wins at all. But yeah. So no, they're such a well-coached team. No, I wouldn't doubt that my memory's wrong, but like I just don't remember that.
Yeah, I was talking about it last night when I did a little a video just talking about week 7 and everything, and I don't remember us beating them since Dak's rookie year either. So I'd like to. I'm gonna have to look that up after we get off here. When was the last time Dak beat the 49ers? But yeah, like you guys, I wrote down a little bit here as my answer, for this question. But in reality, man, I mean, even at 3-4, like Mike said, I thought he brought up a good point. It's a mentality thing, and the Cowboys just haven't shown that mental toughness. Definitely not this season. So yeah, I would say it might have changed a little bit, but not for the right reasons. Is San Francisco better than their 3-4 record implies, Brenden?
I'll say yeah. Like I said, it hasn't been pretty. They lost on the last. Stafford looked phenomenal final drive to beat them. The Chiefs game, it got out of hand because you have nothing. Ayuk gets hurt. Debo barely played because he's sick, and so they had nothing. Their defense couldn't really get a stop. Fred Warner didn't tackle Mahomes on his longest career rushing, which was wild to me. But yeah, no, they're better, and like I said, that's why I see them in the playoffs. I hate talking good about them, but like, there's nothing bad to really talk about. Hard
not to talk good about a good team.
2020, 41-33, we beat them. I think this is right before Dak got injured, right? Where the defense was.
No, that was Mike McCarthy's first year, and that was with Andy Dalton at quarterback. And that was Kellen Moore's kind of like coming out party where our season wasn't lost, but we were not a playoff team, but we were playing for a playoff spot. I remember that game because Michael Gallup absolutely just went off.
And it was 2017 was the one I was thinking of, where we beat them 40-10.
Oh, wow, 2017?
Yeah, we beat them in 2016, 2017, and 2020, and then they beat us every time since.
They had like
what was that, CJ Beathard or something starting for them.
Yeah.
That's a rivalry for me. My best friend's a Niners fan, so I kind of knew a little bit that we had won a couple, because in 2021 when we went to the playoffs, I told him, I go, he knows I don't over like, oh, we're gonna do this, that, and I go, I don't know if you guys could beat us in 2021. I think we're really good. Like, I really thought we were gonna win, and then he was like, yeah, I know you guys have Dak, we have this and that, so we just have to see what happens. And they ended up winning, and I was like, damn, I'm surprised. And then from then on, they've just destroyed us every time.
Yeah, it's been if you're a Niners fan, you definitely had the one up on the Cowboys. With San Francisco's recent injuries and inconsistent play, if Micah Parsons plays, is Dallas guaranteed to win, Mike?
No. Can they even compete? Are they even going to be competitive? That's what I want.
Yeah. I don't think so. I mean, I'd like to think so. Just again, not for the right reasons, just because of how down the Niners are with injuries. That maybe adding Micah Parsons and Deron Bland will give us that final edge that we need. But I don't know. I really do think that now that you brought it up, that the mental edge that San Francisco has is always going to be what separates them from us.
Yeah, I mean, when we play like Nick Bosa and their defense wrecks and Micah Parsons gets taken out and we can't stop the run or do anything, it's like they know how to shut down our offense. Our offense is very rudimentary, and their defense, there's a reason they always destroy Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers doesn't like to use motion. They always killed McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers back then they beat him. Even with LaFleur, when Aaron Rodgers was like, I don't like running that stuff, they'd shut him down. Those type of offenses, Niners lock that up.
Crazy to think that Aaron Rodgers didn't believe in LaFleur's system or offense.
Man, that's nuts.
Brenden, what about you? Do you think with the addition of Micah Parsons, Dallas has a chance at all?
So I saw the national media talk about because Dallas's run defense got better, we were playing worse competition. But no, Micah will make this team better. All pro, could be always in the consideration for defensive player of the year. So but this defensive scheme compared to their run scheme, dude, it's gonna be a murder. I saw everyone's dude, I don't think Mason's doing that. Mason's great. Because you know how he played against the Chiefs. I'm oh, just wait till next week. It's called bounce back, baby, because Mason's gonna be running up and down the field, and everyone's just gonna be looking at each other I have no idea what the F to do, man. They're just gonna be standing there on the sideline, defeated like always. So.
Yeah, I think you guys put it perfectly. My answer here is just hell no with an exclamation point. So I kind of wish now looking at this question, I wish I would have just not even added it to the show sheet. But without Christian McCaffrey and Brandon Aiyuk, is Dallas better than San Francisco, Mike?
No, we're a historically bad defense right now. So, and our offense hasn't gotten going. Exactly, Young offensive line, Cook's injured. They haven't really got connected with Ferguson and Lamb yet. But just defensively, Niners aren't the elite defense they've been in the past, but they're still really good. And we're really, really bottom of the league bad. So no, we're not with them.
Brenden, anything to add to that?
Nick Bosa versus Terrence Steele. I don't gotta say anything else.
It hurts.
Yeah. Well, what does Dallas need to do to have a chance in this game, Brenden?
That's what Mike said earlier in the show. So Dak isn't wearing a Cowboys jersey at all. He's the first player in the NFL to wear a cape, wear an actual cape, and he's not gonna be on the ground. He's gonna be flying. That's the only way we're gonna be able to beat them. Is you have to score every drive, and pray to God your defense holds them to a field goal once.
I've literally put on there Dak be Superman.
Dak be Superman, yeah.
It's Dak. Well, I know we made jokes about Aubrey last week and all that, but it's Aubrey, of course, has to stay locked and doesn't get his kick blocked. I know it's not his fault, but I'm just saying that's happened twice this year, so that can't happen. But it's got to be Dak scoring. We can't settle for field goals, which we're going to. It's gonna be the grossest Sunday night football Dallas has played in a while.
Can we even get down the field to get in field goal range? Well, with Aubrey.
Yeah, but I say, we all we have to do is get to the logo.
We're gonna kick. Can we kick field goals inside 50 yards? I think we're gonna be sticking to hitting 55-yard field goals. Yikes.
My answer was, without Brandon Aiyuk and without Christian McCaffrey, is make Brock Purdy beat you. And if they don't have Deebo Samuels, I mean, I know they still have George Kittle, but I don't know. I feel like Jordan Mason is not overrated. He's a good running back, but I think he's a running back that Dallas could stop. But then it's Kyle Shanahan and his scheme, which Dallas has not shown that they can stop.
Just remember, there was a game this year where, and I know he was out last week, but I think he'll be back. But Jennings went for 11 receptions, like 175 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Touchdowns, yeah.
They'll find a way to they'll probably just run, not even need to pass.
Honestly, I could see like Ricky Pearsall having just a big game just because of this, how bad this defense is,
You know what? That's okay. If there's going to be anyone to do really great against, I want it to be him. He deserves it.
Yeah, after getting shot and like he's back 7 weeks later, that's pretty insane, man.
Questionable chest. That's what it says. Because that's where he was hit with the bullet.
He got shot and then he still took down the guy and took the gun away. How insane is that, dude?
That's a tough ass person.
For real. Who will score the first touchdown, Mike?
Jordan Mason. Handoff. That's an easy one.
I'm going to keep doing it until it effing happens. It's going to happen one day. Mike McCarthy's going to I know I cuss enough already on this, and I'm trying to stop myself so badly because it just pisses me off. But it's Ferg. Like, one seam shot. One. Get Lamb doing a crazy crosser where Fred Warner takes him. And then you have Ferg one-on-one. Do it once. I've seen it one time, and it didn't work this year. And then they stopped doing the seam shot to Ferg. I don't understand. Because we're going to get the ball first. Mike McCarthy loves getting the effing ball first. I don't understand it. But that's what we're going to do. So please, give me one touch. If it's going to be a one touchdown drive, let it be to Ferg. Just to make me happy.
Henry's
very strange, but Mike McCarthy's been wanting to get the ball every game first this year and not resulting in anything. And only to go into halftime with a significant deficit to try to overcome, and then the ball not going back to you. So fun times. For me, I went CeeDee Lamb. I really want CeeDee Lamb and Dak to figure this thing out. Will they ever? I have no idea. But man, to have any chance of doing anything this year, that combination has got to do something.
Yeah. Really.
Brandon, give us a score prediction.
I've said 28-17 San Fran.
Mike?
They'll make it close at the end.
34-19 San Francisco.
I like the fool that I am. I said 27-23 Dallas, only because of the injuries to the San Francisco 49ers. We'll see what happens. I'm praying that I'm right.
Derrick Henry just broke off like another 80-yard run.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, swear. He didn't score the touchdown. He got caught. But they were inside the 10, and he got them all the way into the red zone.
My God,
okay,
man.
Guys, he's washed, though. It's okay. He's just washed. It's okay.
I still wouldn't have paid him, but that's just
honestly, do y'all think he would do anything behind this offensive line?
No, he would still.
He wouldn't be he would be a lot better than what we have, but he wouldn't be
obviously,
this.
yeah.
I think he would average like 80, probably between 65 and 80 yards a game. Not his over 100 before this game.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, Mike, here we are, views from the sidelines. What do the best teams in the NFL have in common?
What you said on your NFL thoughts. They don't have to rely on great QB play. If we've seen it a million times. If we don't come down, the minute we threw the interception on the second Detroit drive, we had 2 9-play drives. We got a field goal on the first one. They came down, scored a touchdown. We went right down the field. The minute Dak threw the interception, game was over. Like Patrick Mahomes, look how he's played. There's been games where Lamar Jackson stunk for a half, and the defense keeps him in it, or Derrick Henry plays well or whatever. Like Brock Purdy for the Niners has the Avengers all around him and a great defense. Most years, I know this year hasn't been as good, but like you don't have to rely on your quarterback to be great. They have full teams, and then the quarterback just makes plays when they have to.
And what do all the worst teams in the NFL have in common?
Bad QBs, bad rosters, bad coaching. Like, it's one of those three. You either have a bad QB, so it doesn't matter what you do. You have a bad coach, so it doesn't matter what you do, or your roster's bad. Which is kind of where we are right now with the injuries. You know, we're a solid roster when everyone's there, but with the injuries, we're a bad roster right now. And luckily, we have a QB that's good to great. He's been average to good this year, but overall, and we have a pretty good coach at everything but calling plays. But like his week, I love Mike McCarthy during the week, like how he uses people, how he monitors stuff, how he is with injuries. Like one injury doesn't kill him, you know, but he's just not a very good. His offense is antiquated, but you know, the roster drags us down. So it's one of those three things.
All right, Brendan's bashing week 7 edition. Talk to us, Brendan.
See, I could go with Mike McCarthy. I could have, because of like what they're talking about, how they got to change their philosophy and all that. I'm like, brother, it's week 8. Why the hell are you just now talking about it? We need to play team football. Shut the fuck up. But no, I'm going with Aaron Rodgers. You are the biggest man-child. You were complaining. You got your head coach fired. Hey, I need my best friend at wide receiver. I need him. Like, guys, we're going to compete so much better. The Steelers have a good defense. They're not that great. Like, I think he threw the guy who was like 5'9", gave him 2 interceptions. Devontae Adams didn't break the game. You have Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams. And Breece Hall. I always totally forgot about Breece Hall. If Dak had these weapons and he was doing what Rodgers is doing, oh, sweet Lord. The national media already kills him. It would be a bloodbath. Like, Rodgers complained so much. He's getting people fired. He's trying to say, oh, we'll right the shit. And then he's talking about philosophy changes when no one cares. Like, their offense is so terrible. They lost to Russell Wilson, who had a little bit above 50% completion percentage because his offense couldn't score because Rodgers continues to throw interceptions.
Crazy to see the Jets being 2-5 now, and like you said, man, Rodgers has everything he asked for, and they still suck. So, yeah, and I can't imagine what people would be saying about Dak, like you said. Cardinals corner, Mike, give us a score update.
Halftime, Cardinals are up 7-6.
Ew.
Now, are you going to be eating the cheese or the pepperoni? You're going to go with the Mexican style, spice things up? What are we going to go for, Mike?
Give me 1 second. What's the Arizona Cardinals record? We're 2-4. I'm good right now. I'm good.
All we need is 6 more wins, baby. Anything's possible. One word: Dallas beating the 49ers would be blank, Mike.
Interesting, because I would be like, okay, like I just don't see it happening. So it would pique my interest. Like, how'd they do this? Did the offense look amazing after the bye? Then I'd be like, what the fuck happened? Or did the defense somehow during the bye like get new players, like new defensive linemen? Like, I don't know. So I would be interested. I would really be like, okay, I got to dive into how this happened.
Brenden?
I said ironic. Like, of course, out of all the years, Dallas finally beats San Fran. They're completely hurt, and you're playing awful. We're not thinking Dallas makes the playoffs. It's like, okay, hey, this is a big win, and we're gonna use that. We're already pushing for the playoffs, and this is just a huge win to show what we are. No, it's not. If they win, I'll be laughing. Like, it's just gonna be me laughing on the couch. It's like, okay, cool. F you, McCarthy. Of course, it's the one time you can decide, like, we'll try a new game plan out.
You know, I had 3 different words here. I had miraculous, surprising, and uplifting. I'll just say shocking.
Yeah, that works. Uplifting. It'll be uplifting for a lot of fans if we were able to beat San Francisco. A lot of fans would be uplifting. I don't know if I would get that far, but a lot would.
I think Foots the King would.
Dude, I love him, like his
He's very Homer. I love Foots too, but he is Homer. Like,
yeah, he's like, man, if they win, does this like completely make you forget about what's happening? No.
And the way
he loves the Cowboys, but he hates Dak. It's crazy.
Well, he sees the injuries and he's like, this is the time. I don't know why you guys are scared of the. And I'm like, because it's not about the players. It's about the coaching and the mentality of the team. They could run out Ricky Pierce on them. The way our offense plays, their defense shuts that down. So that would either have to change, regardless of players, and the way their offense runs the ball and sets up their players, they'll go with Ricky Pearsall and Jennings and score enough to win because mentally they've got that down. They know the mentality.
Like Mike McCarthy, Kyle Shanahan has a way of getting the next guy ready to play, but also has the elite scheme to be able to do it at a much higher level.
Yes, agreed.
All right, top 5. I'm excited for this one tonight, boys. Movies with the best opening scenes. Mike, give us number 5.
All right, I got to say, this one was very hard for me. Like, I'm going to give you some examples of what's not on my top 5. Lion King, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Scream, New Hope, Star Wars for people that, don't know that. No Country for Old Men, Memento, Jaws, all did not make the top 5. So those are all, what do you call that? Like
iconic.
Well, I just can't believe, like, me, I try to, like, I had another Disney, so I didn't use Lion King. I didn't use Reservoir Dogs because I had another Quentin Tarantino. Mine starts off with Saving Private Ryan, Omaha Beach. I mean,
never seen that movie.
Bro, it starts off Omaha Beach. The things come down, just everybody getting what. It's just them taking that beach and the cost of it. Like, so many people had to be basically sacrificed to take that beach. And it's when I first saw the list, my first thought was that's top 3. And I went through the movies. It was like, damn, that almost didn't make the list. It's crazy.
Brenden, what about you? Number 5 on your list?
So my list mainly revolves around the stuff I watched as a kid, but it's not animated like you would think movies. I put OG Ghostbusters because first off, I know I've said this plenty of times, but that movie did scare the shit out of me when I was little. Like, utterly terrified me. But the first, like, it's so good because you see like how they're gonna do the CGI ghosts and all that. I'm like, dude, that looks good. Like, of course, for the time and all that, it gets me hooked. And then, scares me later. But when I was a kid, I was just like, dude, no, that's me cool. That's me pretty great.
That's a good one. I like that.
I haven't seen the OG Ghostbusters in a long time, but I do like the original ones. Number 5 on my list, I went with Scream.
Ah, yes. Great. That's a great and the way Drew Barrymore told them, because Drew Barrymore was supposed to be Neve Campbell. And then she was like, no, she told them, like, no, you oughta have me be the one that gets killed off right away because everybody else is kind of no-name people, not Drew Barrymore stars. And if you kill me right away, it's like Alfred Hitchcock killing your star in the middle of the movie, but you're doing it immediately. So, yeah, that was cool by Drew Barrymore, to come up with that idea. And Wes Craven, the greatest horror movie person of all time. Yeah. And that scene's just awesome.
I'll never forget seeing that in theaters and not really knowing what to expect from that movie. And then just the way that opens up like that, I'm like, oh my God, man, I've never seen a movie like that.
The Wes Craven, Nightmare on Elm Street, The Hills Have Eyes, he was so brilliant. And then, a decade later, he goes, you know what, I'm going to flip this whole genre. I'm going to make fun of my genre, the thing that I made elite. I'm going to flip it on its head. And then he comes up with Scream. What an icon, dude. Freddy Krueger and Ghostface and Hills Have Eyes, which is super underrated. But, man, Wes Craven's elite.
Number 4, shout out to my son, man. I've seen this opening scene way too many times the last couple of months, but it was tough choosing from this franchise. I went with Toy Story 3.
Oh, the ending of that one is
the ending of that one is
opening.
Yeah, just because you think everybody's probably thinking about that train like robbery scene and everything, but then it goes into Andy growing up and then like the toys wanting to get Andy's attention again.
Yeah, that's a man. See, I only went one Disney movie, so
Yeah.
I stayed. Otherwise, I could have done 5 Disney movies because that one's up there.
It was between Toy Story 3 and Toy Story 2 for me, actually. Mike, number 4 on your list.
Number 4 is The Dark Knight. Obviously, Joker bank robbery scene that could go number 1. Honestly, it's so good. Yeah. I had 3 others that I had higher, but flip a coin. Honestly, if you don't know what that scene is, I don't know what to tell you. Christopher Nolan is a genius, and it kept me from putting Memento in. And if anybody's seen Memento, it's the movie Christopher Nolan does where every scene it's going backwards. It's like playing the movie backwards, and the opening scene is him, like it literally plays backwards to where he fires the gun. But I couldn't put it in my top 5 because I already had Nolan's Dark Knight. Has to be in there for me. Has to.
Brenden, number 4 on your list.
Mike talked about it earlier, but he said it wasn't my top 5. I said Star Wars: A New Hope. Dude, the opening scene, you see the Tantive 4, like it's such a big ship, and then you just see the Star Destroyer just come and taking the entire screen, which makes me think of man, it's completely blanked on a movie, but you see that go over top, and then you see them break in, and you see the best movie villain of all time, Darth Vader, come in as a towering figure, and he's just a badass. Of course, we see more in Rogue One of him, absolutely slaughtering everyone. But it just starts off a perfect series. I love it so much.
I couldn't believe that didn't make my top 5. It's so good.
I was thinking of Spaceballs because I love seeing their big their big ship take over the screen. I also love that too.
All right, Brenden, number 3 on your list, sir.
I said Iron Man 1.
Oh man, nice. I can't believe I didn't think about that, dude. So freaking good.
Iron Man is by movie wise, he's by far my favorite superhero of all time. It just goes. Robert Downey Jr. is phenomenal. As just a charismatic dude. He's just chilling there, banging out music in a Humvee, and then everything just goes to shit. And it just shows. I love origin stories, and it just shows everything. It's just so awesome. It catches you off guard, even though you know what's going to happen. You just didn't think it was going to happen that fast. It was just awesome.
We got no red barons on this list.
My favorite superhero movie.
Great one.
Mike, number 3 on your list.
Number 3 on my list, Baby Driver. Love that movie. Edgar Wright's a genius. And it just has, Shane from Walking Dead, John Bernthal, John Hamm, Aliza Gonzalez. If I said that right, I don't know. Very, very beautiful woman. And they robbed that bank, and then him just taking off and getting away. And the way it's the music, bell bottoms is playing the whole time. It sets the whole movie up so well for what you're going to get going forward. And it's one of my all-time, probably my top 5 favorite movies of all time. And that opening is just perfect.
Such a good movie. Number 3 on my list, I went with X-Men 2, the opening scene with Nightcrawler in the White House.
Oh, nice. I prefer.
Been a while since I've seen it, but go ahead.
I prefer where they come into the house with Wolverine, though. That's the scene, dude. That is awesome. Good one. You guys are killing these lists.
It's been a while since I've seen any X-Men movies, but X-Men 2 was like really, really way up there for me as far as like superhero movies goes. Number 2 on my list, this one's a tearjerker of a beginning, but I had to have Up there. I didn't feel right not having Up.
Oh my God. It's a full movie in the first opening minutes. It's incredible. Yeah. And to this day, I've seen that movie 1,000 times. To this day, I cannot not cry. I cry. Period. I'm a crier. I cry. It's elite. It's as
if
good.
You don't get choked up, you're like not human.
Yeah. That opening is incredible.
All right, Mike, number 2 on your list.
Number 2 on my list is Inglourious Bastards. Him coming to the most if you could tell me, like, pick a scene acting And like it's the most that's that scene. Christoph Waltz. He's incredible. And it is just it's unbelievable, and it's tense, and it's just two guys talking, and it's Quentin Tarantino dialogue, like written dialogue, Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction. I mean, as good as he's ever done that opening scene. And, you know, it could easily be number one. It's probably, if you looked up best opening scenes, I would bet Inglourious Bastards is picked first, maybe more than any other movie. That would be my guess. If I had to guess one, it would be Inglourious Bastards.
I actually looked it up on a site called Ranker. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it. Saving Private Ryan was number one.
Oh, so my 5. Did it have where Inglourious Bastards was?
I want to say it was top 10. I know No Country for Old Men was pretty high up there as well.
That opening scene's fucking nuts too. Saving Private Ryan though is sick because it's action. You know, so it's like a badass 15-minute fucking crazy action scene.
All right, Brenden, number 2 on your list, sir.
Well, we already talked about it. It's Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Like Heath Ledger being shown as Joker, like you have no idea who's any of these robbers or anything, and they all end up killing each other just because they're trying to get more of the money, and it's just showing the greatest comic book villain ever with Heath Ledger's Joker. It's just so great.
And then how he escapes in the school bus and gets right in line with all the other school buses, dude. Perfection, man. Mike, number 1 on your list.
Up.
Or sorry, Brenden, number 1 on your list. My bad.
Oh, okay. Well, mine we talked about mine before.
Yeah.
Up is mine.
Honestly, I'm gonna be kind of mad at Mike if he doesn't kind of know mine. I think it's very obvious. I've talked about it so many times on this show. It's you don't. It's Revenge of the Sith. Oh my god. Of course. Dude, I know it's Homer. I don't care. That movie is fucking peak. It just starts off okay, Coruscant. Oh, there's a Vendor-class Star Destroyer that's coming in, and you see all these explosions. The craziest battle to actually ever happen in Star Wars was going on right there, because that's the capital world of the Republic. You see Obi-Wan and Anakin flying around, blowing up stuff, and trying to get into the Invisible Hand.
It's a great one.
Yeah, and you see General Grievous, and you see Count. It's so awesome. I can watch it any day of the week, and I'll be happy.
It's great. Ends with Dooku and Anakin and them escaping. Grievous. Yeah, that's a good one. Paul, your number 1's got to be Dark Knight, because you didn't have it in your top 5, and everyone is going to have Dark Knight in their top 5.
The Dark Knight is definitely number 1 on mine.
I knew it. I'm like, because when you said Up, I was like, oh man, okay. So because Up was my number 1, so I'm like, he's got to have Dark Knight 1. He has to. Good.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. I'm like, I felt like there was going to be some crossover between our lists. I thought we'd all have Dark Knight in there, and I wasn't sure about Up, but I had a good feeling maybe Mikey might have snuck that one in there as well.
Bro, Up, my number 1. It's a movie in the first couple. It's a full movie. Emotion, happiness, tears, cry. You could leave and you'd be like, damn, I barely got into my popcorn, but that movie was unbelievable. It's a devastating. It's you could watch all of Saving Private Ryan and see all that death and all that sacrifice and all that craziness, and you still, if you watch the opening of Up, you're like, I'm more devastated by this. This is a devastating opening. It's so impactful.
Yeah, love stories always get you, man. Well, I enjoyed our discussion tonight, as always, gentlemen. Top 5 killed it as always. Mike, before we get you out of here, where can we find you on Twitter?
Almost under an hour. CD Piglet, guys, nice and easy.
Brenden, remind the people where they can find you.
At Brandon_Smith 26, as my voice just almost gives out.
I am Paul Ryan. You can find me on Twitter at Paul_Ryan15. We appreciate you joining us, and we will see you guys next week.
Good list, guys. I was